I get this question all the time. Students ask me, how long should I be studying for my final exam? And there are a couple of answers to this because it's not as easy as one would expect. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you the easy answer, and I'm going to give you the unpopular answer. Find out right now. By the way, I'm Terrell, and this is Absolutely Studying. I bootstrapped my way through university while juggling a full-time job and a family. It was tough, and now I want to pay it forward. I want to provide you with all of the resources and support you need to flourish in your academic career. Today, we are talking about final exams and how to study for them. How long does it really take for you to study for your final exam in order to get a good mark? Find out today. And one of the useful resources you're going to find to accompany this video is the study planner. If you got a final exam to study for, pick it up. It's free, it's in the description, and it is going to provide you a template that you can create in order to study for your final exam and make sure nothing gets forgotten. Now, while you're down there, let me know how long you think is required to study for your final exam. Let's start with the unpopular answer. When should you start studying for your final exam? And the answer to that is the day you start the course. On day one in college or university, you're going to get your syllabus, and this is going to give you an outline of all of the information that you are going to cover in the class. It's also going to tell you what's on the final exam, if it is cumulative, what its work, and usually what'll be on it. Your professors will give you all of the nitty-gritty of how many questions, what kind of questions and stuff as you get closer. But on day one, you already have what you need to get started. As you go through the semester, make sure to not only study the information you're learning, but everything you've learned so far. Make sure you go back and hit up some of the hot spots that you covered earlier in the course to keep that information fresh and easily recalled. That is the best way to really go into your final exam all knowing and prepared, is by studying the information for the entire semester, getting really used to and really confident instead of just reaching a certain threshold and then rushing to study everything that you might have missed at the last minute. But you're not here because you want to hear that you should have been studying for the full semester. You're here because you want the easy answer as to when should I actually start preparing for my final exam. And the answer to that is about 3 weeks. 3 weeks before the date of your exam, you should be sitting down and starting to study. So that usually means that a little bit before that, make your study outline. Make a list and a tracker of everything that you need to study leading up to the exam so that you can make sure you have it covered. In the study planner that I mentioned at the top of the video, there is an activity tracker. Use this, list out everything you need to study, concept by concept, topic by topic, and then track that you are in fact studying it in all of these different ways before your exam. There are more than 20 study activities, so it is best to use it for the whole semester, but you can brief it down and shorten it and just study it in 5 or 6 ways in the days and weeks before your exam. There's also a confidence tracker, so you can track your progress on how you develop concepts that you're not so comfortable with leading up to the exam so that if you do have some extra time, you know at a glance what you need to focus on. While you're preparing before the 3-week mark, make a schedule. So actually plan out the 3 weeks on a calendar and make sure you write in exactly what it is you're going to study, how you're going to study it, and how long you're going to spend on each topic. Make sure that you do list each and every concept that you need to touch on several times, at least a few times, throughout the whole 3 weeks. Even if you're only allotting about 10 minutes to review it and skim over your notes, it's just so important to read it over and over again, even if you think you are confident on it. You're not going to do yourself any harm by just skimming over the notes for 5 or 10 minutes. So make sure that you do have these extra sessions set aside, even for concepts that you're good at, to go over them quickly and just read over them a little bit and just make sure that there's nothing that you think you remember, but you actually forgot. When you sit down for each of these sittings, make sure that you are changing how you're studying. So maybe the longer sittings you're writing notes or you're reading through them, but maybe on some of the shorter sittings, you're just flipping through flashcards and quizzing yourself. That's okay. Those shorter sittings are meant to be just a really quick, brief coverage of the information. The important thing is to switch up how you do it. You can even switch up how you go over flashcards if that's your quick study session of choice. I have a video of 10 different ways you can use flashcards in a study session. I will link it above and below just in case you need some suggestions on how you can switch it up with those. The importance of switching up how you review the information is basically this. You create mental associations every single time you review the information. The more mental associations you have, the more easily you can recall because there's more triggers to the information that you can follow and get the answer. It just means that recall is faster and easier and it takes less effort, and that's what you need during test time. The more ways you expose the information, so doing it with diagrams, doing it by reading, doing it by question and answer or expanding, doing it by explaining and teaching it to someone else, gives you more access to that information. You're now thinking of it from different perspectives, and all of those perspectives can be used to recall the information during test time when you need it. Finally, do practice quizzes regularly. Right from day one, a great way to start is by starting off your study session, your 3-week planner, with a practice quiz. And every week, every few days, add more of them, redo them, and actually sit down, clear your desk off, set a timer, and quiz yourself. Try and make the conditions as realistic as possible. So turn off all of your electronics, don't use your books, don't use your binders, do it alone, don't do it with a friend. Instead, just take that time and do the practice quiz. Professors will often release past quizzes that they used in previous classes. And that's also a great way to gauge how well you know it. If you can fly through the practice quizzes with little time or contemplation, then you know you've got a pretty strong handle on the information, especially if it is a practice quiz that has been given to you by the professor. One of the pages in my study planner is actually a practice quiz template. It allows you to write down the fact, rephrase it into a bunch of different questions, and write down the answer. This way you can make 3 or 4 or however many practice quizzes you want in a single session. And again, that is the study planner and activity tracker. It's free in the description below. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every Thursday, and they are always about study tips, organizational hacks, and homework help to help you through the study struggle. Visit my website for more useful guides and resources, and until next time, I hope you have an amazing adventure.